I'm Susan Malcolmson, speech pathologist. I hope you've watched my introduction so you know more about me. If not, go back to it when you have time. And I don't know if you've watched the first Welcome the Baby from Womb to Room land work, but this is the Welcome the Baby from Womb to Room in an aqua setting, in water. I'm not going to put the tub in front because you won't be able to see us. So instead, we're going to imagine that we're taking this baby who is totally naked. Of course, this is an already pre-dressed doll whose clothes don't come off. And I leave the hat on because the head is really bare. So just imagine a little baby with nothing on, wrapped in a receiving blanket, getting ready to be received by a warm pool of water that is 93 to 96 degrees Fahrenheit or 35.9 down to 35.6 centigrade. Now it might not sound like that's much of a spread of temperature, but just a couple of tenths of a degree can mean a lot to a very young baby. So we have our baby who has just come out of 9 months of being all folded up in the womb in an aquatic setting, and the baby gets born into the air. So it takes a while for babies to learn to feel comfortable in the air. So we can take a lot of time giving baby the introduction and experience of going into water from the time the umbilical cord falls off after the baby is born. Some babies actually are born into water, and some babies at birth are in a setting where they can come into a warm water setting and stretch out immediately before there's any kind of worry about infection coming in through the umbilical cord. But after that, after baby comes home and is in the family, the umbilical cord really has to be clearly healed before the baby goes into water. So this water is not bath water. This is a separate little water setting in a baby bathtub, in a container, whatever you have that will hold the baby. And what we do is we bring the baby into the water. The receiving blanket's here, so I'm going to put my hand under the baby's head directly. I'm going to support the back of the baby with one hand. The other hand is behind the fat part of the head called the occiput. And we're going to gently come down into the water. And this hand, this bottom hand, head hand we'll call it, is supporting the baby's head. So if the baby wants to turn the head, we're just going to make sure our fingers are going to keep it from going all the way into the water. And we're going to remove this bottom hand and we're going to put it on top of the baby. Now, one hand on top of the baby covers just about the whole baby's torso. And this hand behind the baby comes almost all the way down the back. So the baby is well supported. But once the baby comes in water, if the baby likes it, then we unwrap the baby. If the baby doesn't like it, you look at your temperature. I use this kind of thermometer. There are some very cute turtles and ducks that can float in the water that also tell temperature, and I've used those too, but this you can buy in any hardware store for about $5, maybe still, who knows, nothing's $5 anymore, but it could be. And it gives you Fahrenheit and centigrade readings, and there's a little cup that catches the water, and you can see the temperature. So it really helps to have somebody with you who can monitor the water. But if you don't, if you're next to a water source, then you can do it yourself. Just make sure you have baby's head stable and you don't look away from baby. And if you start with 96 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 36.9 degrees centigrade, then you see how the baby comes in the water. If the baby is just calm, then you unwrap the baby. You can just unwrap the baby whenever you're ready. take the receiving blanket off. Just let it sit in the water. It doesn't matter. And just put your hand on the baby and see what baby does. I have experienced babies doing many different things. Sometimes they will do the asymmetrical tonic neck response, which is moving a hand up and turning the head to the side that the hand is up, and then coming back to midline, and then repeating it on the other side and come back to midline, and then raising their little knees and just twisting to one side and then the other, coming back and relaxing. Some babies just kick and splash and wiggle. It depends. It depends on the age of the baby. It depends on the baby and what the baby wants to do. But basically, all you have to do is make sure the water is the right temperature and baby is calm, and watch what the baby does. And when the baby stops moving and looks content, then you can take the baby out into another receiving blanket and wrap it up and dress the baby and come back. And in my last video, I showed how tummy time can be done, where the baby pushes against you and the baby can learn how to push their head away from your body and move the head in directions which increases the strength of the tongue base, which helps sucking. And I have had great-grandchildren who have done just this little floating thing and have come out having better latching for breastfeeding. So you never know what the baby is going to attune to and like, but you just want it to be simple, easy, and rewarding for all of you. When you work with a baby in a bathtub, I suggest you get a baby bathtub or there are plastic containers, storage containers that are perfect for a baby bathtub with a flat bottom. This is a picture of the summer infant baby bathtub. It's got a flat bottom and it folds. I'll show you the bathtub. And I think you can still get it. I have seen them online. And this is the bathtub. It has a flat bottom. It also has a pull thing so you can raise up the head if you want to and make it more on an angle. But for doing the kind of bath I was showing, a flat bottom like this, where the baby can be flat and you can hold it supported that way, is very nice, with the water coming up to its chin. So thank you again for joining me, and ask me questions if you wish.